Good evening and namaste. Can you hear me? Hello? Okay. Good evening and namaste. So, I am from Saatvik Solar. And Saatvik is a growing solar module manufacturing company. We are also into EPC business. And it's growing rapidly. We are also getting into several other business, solar pump business. So our main manufacturing site is located at Ambala, and we have got 4 gigawatt of manufacturing facility. And we've also taken a land in Odisha where we are building another 6 gigawatt capacity. So I joined this company in last year, September, and it'll be completing almost a year now. And I've seen enormous growth. You know, when I joined the company, production capacity was 500 megawatt, now it is 4 gigawatt. So I think one of the key point to ensure that you get budget for the emerging technology is whether the projects which you're taking, whether it is meeting the strategic goal of the company or not. So one of it is easier for me because growth, efficiency, the complaints, reducing the customer complaints, increasing the customer experience, these are some of the challenges with the business are facing. So that's one of the things. So you have to always ensure that whether it is meeting the company's strategic goal or not. So if you get that, then you will be getting sufficient support from the top management stakeholders. Second point, you have to also that it's industry specific solutions. I worked for Vikram Solar previously, and I worked 6 years in solar industry. So I knew that the solutions which I'm selecting is industry specific solutions, and this gives the desired output which the business is looking for. So I have actually worked out a solution in the business Saatvik Solar, wherein we are automating the entire production process, improving the quality. We are also working in a solution of AI based or ML based, machine learning based identification of the cracks which develop during the manufacturing process. So that reduces the chance of rework, and it also improves the quality of the process. We have also taken some initiative to take the output of some output data called Sun Simulator, where it gets the the final output of the product. And then we also measure the efficiency of input versus output. There are certain reports which is called flash test reports. Those data also has to be shared with the customer, which has not been manually shared, and it's been wrongly shared. Some data is going wrongly to the customer. We produce millions of modules. So we are now producing almost 20,000 modules in a day, 6 lakhs modules in a month. So more than 70 lakhs modules in a year. So it's very difficult to maintain everything manually. So that's some of the challenges which the business was having. And while implementing projects, I've also ensured that we've got right people from the cross-functional team, from the quality, from the production, and also the right people in the sense, not the quality manager, not the quality GM. Right people is actually working the shop floor. And we've also given them a power to make the decisions. So we are actually partnering with Deloitte and designing the solution in SAP, and to ensure that it runs perfectly all right in one plant, which is the smallest plant. So that the chances of risk is very less. So we have done it in the plant 1, which is our smallest plant, where we produce 1,500 modules. Rest other 2 plants are very pretty big. So we are fail-proofing the entire things, and then probably the next month beginning we will be putting into all the plants, all the 2 other plants we are implementing. So these are some of the steps which we have taken. And obviously, in terms of ensuring that it also meets the regulatory compliance, cybersecurity risks, those are all given things. So these are some of the things which we have done, ensuring that you get full support from the management, you get full support from the team, and the groundwork has already been done the last year. When actually I was preparing a budget, I was actually discuss with the the production team, the manufacturing head, that these are some of the solutions which can give, and we can give benefits to the company, and benefits not only in lakhs, it's in crores. We are expecting that this solution will give the business benefit about 20 crores, more than 20 crores. So that's something which business has accepted, and we are able to prove that now. And if everything goes up well, next month we'll go for whole hog implementation for other two plants. Thank you, sir.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So, see, cost controls and budgetary constraints are something which are always given. You will always be short of budgets. I think at ITQ, the mindset that we work on is more like, as the earlier speakers told about, startup mentality. We solve industry problems. And any initiative that we do, we just recently launched a fair rule interpretation application running on LLMs. Again, first in the industry, first in the world being done, and it's having great adoption. There are airlines participating and doing joint promotion with us. So I actually come from travel technology. All initiatives have to be driven through a top-line approach. There is no glamour in bottom line anymore. And with the projections of Indian economy going, I think within a year's time, or max 1.5 years to 2, India will be the third largest economy. So that's given. So how do we ensure that whatever initiatives that have been done contribute to top line increases? So the moment you have a top line approach, half of the problem is more or less solved because there are no budgetary constraints, because you've linked it with top line. And as you start cranking up the top line with those initiatives, and that's where you get support, you get sponsorship, you get participation not only from your management, key stakeholders, but key, again, based on one of the speakers earlier, how well do you know the business, how well you know the customer, how well you know the entire life cycle. And I think that's the key for all CIOs, CTOs, CDOs to understand, that knowing the psyche of the customer, knowing every stage at where there are frictions, how do you remove those friction? How do you make it so intuitive that the transaction time gets reduced? You are almost reaching 5 nines of accuracy. And with the technology, the way that all the stacks have kind of opened up, they are delivering the goods. They will ensure that your deliverables are met. It has to be planned properly. That will only come if you know the business in and out, you know the customer in and out. And all initiatives, top line driven, will deliver the goods where you will not be pressed against budgets or constraints. And in the bargain, keep on improving, keep on improvising, keep on reducing the cost, make it more optimal, reducing response time, frictions. Those will keep what I also jokingly tell to my team, how to keep the romance going, romance with the customer. And I think that's where the crux is. Either the cookie will crumble there, or you will really come out in flying colors. So that's my 2 cents on it. Thank you.
Right. Correct. So, as no, you mentioned, Mr. Anand, any strategic, investment which is organizations are doing, I think I will categorize in multiple factors. It actually depends on the potential outcomes, which is aligned as per the organization goal, which can be a short-term goal or a long-term goal. So we are as a Motadata, we help CIOs and CTOs like all of you guys over here, because you do a lot of investment in IT or infra, add in. So wherein we come in and we cut down all the silos which is there on the platform or application or any kind of compute platform, I would say. So we bring in a strategy wherein we bring everything on a single dashboard, and then that will help CIOs and CTOs to actually see whatever investment they have done. Okay, and they can also visualize the future forecasting in terms of the the network or IT business which they can help. Yeah.
Hello. So, good evening, everybody. So I think all panelists have already touched on the point. So the prioritization basically is what are the business priorities? First thing is we have to align our investment with business priorities. We have to understand what are business priorities. Secondly, what are the compliance needs? That is also very important, which is a factor where like we have to prioritize our investment. And thirdly is like what is our current asset life. For example, if we have some legacy systems, or what is our posture right now, and where we want to basically take that modernization or automation towards right in next 3 years or 5 years plan. So I think that is number one point, the alignment of need of business, that is foremost important to put that investment. Second is like we should do a short-term, short-term goals as well as maybe long-term strategy. What can be done in short-term? For example, the minimum value products which we want to deliver, right? That should be basically first prioritized. We should do POCs or maybe small sections, developments, or maybe migrations, or maybe cloud movements, right? Which will give benefit to the organization, which is much more greater than what we are investing. So that ratio, I think if we have to plan it better, we should do it as a priority, and then we should go for our roadmap. So that is my understanding for prioritization.
Good evening all. I am Kishore Gojia. I am coming from Gitanjali Group. As I am second last in the panel, so almost all the panelists has shared their view, and they already covered so many points which is relevant to that question. But I would like to share two practical things as per my experience. The first thing is we have to, because after COVID, post-pandemic, new normal era has pushed the AI, IoT and the cloud adoption. Every alternate day we get some new solution, we get some new idea, and our board always are ready to listen us, but they won't be able to take a decision just because of that. The capping part was budget. Budget always are concern for the IT. So now in this case, my suggestion is whenever we are working out about the solution part, we have to give a priority to the solution which is immediately affecting and improving our business outcome. Based on that, if we select any AI technology or IoT based solution or any cloud adoption, that will immediately give us a approval from the board also, from the CIO days also, we can approve the solution for our IT head. The second part is we have to focus and prioritize the thing as per our business need. Let's say example in healthcare, people are talking about the AI. We ourselves is already implemented multiple AI tools, but the important part is we initially has accept and adopt and implement the AI in imaging factor. Why? Because of that, once we applied the AI in image analysis, we can immediately enhance the patient result. So that is the main aim. As per our domain, we have to focus and we have to understand the business need, prioritize the thing, and of course, which is relevant and impactful for the business result that need to be taken care.
Thanks, Anand. Happy evening. I think this is the first word that I have learned this evening. So thank you so much for that. I'm Irshad Saifi, representing Shardula Merchant Mangalas, which is India's largest and premium law firm in the country. I would not like to add too much onto what has already been said, and I completely resonate with everybody, all the co-panelists that have told us about on this topic. The only thing that I would like to mention is that when we talk about initiative being successful or a failure, basis my experience, what I have seen, two things happens. Many a times, we from IT team believes that this is the business problem, and to solve that business problem, we look at some of the solutions, and then we buy it, give it to the business to use. And when they don't use it, we sort of invoke the adoption process. We put in certain number of people to ensure that the adoption increases. So we end up spending a lot of efforts, time and money for implementing or roll out a solution which perhaps might not have been meant for the business. Because we from IT do not understand those nuances of the process. And this is the category I'm talking about, which sort of fails that particular initiative, and I've seen it in my life. The second category, which really I've seen being very successful, is the one wherein you go sit with the business. And before I go down to that, as our co-panelists were saying, that a lot of people would come and tell you that, you know, we are looking for this technology or that technology. And as we all experience on a day-to-day basis, all the business team would come and say, hey, look, this is a new technology. Can you please implement this for us? This is an AI technology. Can you implement this AI technology for us? So I think instead of, you know, implementing the technology, my question always to the businesses, technologies are very fancy words, and today everybody talks about it, but what is the problem that you are trying to solve? Unless we are not able to quantify the problem that we are trying to solve, I never sign off on any of the technology. So we do spend a lot of time with the business to really understand the business pain points do they have. And many a times you will discover that the problem that they are telling could perhaps be solved by a simple workflow, or could be a process change, or could be implementing a very sophisticated AI technology. But I think what we should do is start with understanding the problem first, and then try to map what sort of a technology, process change, or sophistication that we need to enable for initiatives to really make it a success. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a difficult question, but you know, there are a lot of innovation is happening in the solar area, you know, and the cost is constantly coming down in terms of the manufacturing cost. Everywhere, you know, right from China, it's actually all driven from China, and then we all implement it. And at present, the government of India and the Modi ji is also, you know, ensuring that a lot of benefits are given to the module manufacturing companies also. So coming back to the question of, you know, the cost pressure is there in the business, but at the same time, the efficiency through which, and there are so much of high tech, solar is a slightly high tech industry. So there is a mindset at the top management that, okay, if you, I mean, that's easier for us, you know, compared to other, is that if you use those technologies, there is a chance that you reduce the cost of operations. Okay, so during the budgeting exercise, since I've earlier worked in solar industry, I knew that this company has not implemented all those solutions which is there. So actually during the budgeting exercise, when we're there, you know, outside our locations, I actually teamed up with the manufacturing team and given all the ideas so that he push it for this budget for new innovation and all those things, okay? And then the other thing which I also get told the management is that you need to have a stage gate funding model. If I am successful, then you give me the next one. If I am successful again, you give me the next one. So that's one of the things, you know, how do I ensure that I get, although there is a cost pressure, but then if I'm proving something and showing the benefits, so obviously you get the budget which you are looking for. So that's one of the things which I've done. The other thing is that you need to have a agile sprints, you know. If you are, you know, you quickly find out some KPIs, show the value, and if it is not, then kill that. You know, don't go ahead, just kill that. So that's another thing which I've learned. So very fast feedback loop. Prioritize the projects. The one which has got the low cost, you know, but probably it is showing much higher value, you know, take up that project first. So that you have a chance to prove that, okay, I've spent so much of money, little bit of money, but I'm showing this benefit. So these are some of the things which we have, you know, prioritization, fast feedback, giving confidence to the team. And another thing which I have said that I told in my previous also, the cross team group, you know, they actually help you in, you know, convincing the top management. You are not going to convince the top management. The guys who are there in the shop floor, they are going and telling the quality manager, this is improving our quality, this is reducing my customer complaint. Guys in the shop floor, in the manufacturing, they are saying that this is, you know, helping us in, and everything is now automated. You know, they are all already doing it manually, this automation. So they are saying that we are getting more time in, you know, checking the quality. There are a lot of data coming from, you know, from the AI ML system that has been uploaded, bit of known, you know, kind of logic which has been done to ensure that this particular result will give you that is module is A grade, B grade, some conditions. You know, again, it's not AI, I would say the formula driven. So this is A grade, this is lower grade. You know, we are putting those kind of logics and helping the team to take a decision. Okay, taking the output of the machine, showing them that this is the, you know, this is what it should be, ensuring there is something called a bin loss, CTM loss. Now ensuring, let's see, once we start making any manufacturing, suppose we are producing 580 watt peak module, you may get 585. Okay, so that decision earlier was with the operator. So now we made that decision in our system automatic. Okay, so those are some of the things which actually has given benefit to the business. Cross-functional. I will tell you, absolutely. Biggest thing, I think the cross-functional team, and take the finance also, they help us. And when you do the TCO versus benefits, don't only consider the cost reduction, consider that how much of additional businesses can give, how much of risk it can reduce. So if you are giving too much of customer complaint, then you are not able to retain the customer. Okay. So how much of risk it can reduce. So the TCO is not only the benefits, is not only the cost reduction. It's got many other things which is there.
Same, in this alignment, I'll always share a live case with the audience wherever I have any opportunity for the sharing the knowledge. Since 19 years, I've been always face a challenge in each and every my organization or each and every on my project, that my IT head used to report me, sir, we have a legacy system, we have this much of infra or application or anything which is already invested by the board or organization. How to replace that? Because you as a HOD or a CIO come up with a new idea and planning to implement a new thing for the organization, and board always ask that I a new one, Kishore bhai, kya kare? How to balance both of the existing one, or we so my first input, and always I suggest that never ever go 100% of the new idea of the replacement of the existing one. I phrase it in like way, rather than rip and replace, go step by step. So what we have to approach, I shared with you one live case of one of the hospital wherein the ERP was desktop based ERP, and since last 8 years they were on that ERP, they were happy, organization has, there is no requirement of the replacement of that particular ERP, but ERP has a limitation to developing a digital EMR record. So what we have done, we have cut short that requirement. We have adopted the EMR solution which was hosted on cloud, and by using the API approach, we have integrated with the legacy ERP. So we may not require to replace the complete ERP or a complete solution. We may not require to invest completely on the infrastructure or ERP part or implementation part. We just have to plug that new solution with our legacy solution. So we have to always think about that, how to plug our new solution with the existing solution. So there are API based approach which we need to implement and need to accept for the same. The most important part is, while specifically we have a legacy environment, we have to adopt the audit process. We have to invest on the audit part specifically for the infrastructure audit as well as for the security audit. Why? Because of that, once we call it as a legacy, immediately the pictures comes in our mind that business continuity, business security, what would be the things if goes wrong, how we can survive and sustain and maintain our system. So we have to go through the appropriate channel through the auditor so that we come to know what are the risks has been associated with our legacy environment. We have to target first those items, those inventory, those application, those protocol are in the risk factor. So the audit part is most important. The third part is training and engagement of the existing stakeholders. What we usually do, we use plan a new infrastructure or a new application. We announced it, we implement it, and then we go ahead with the same, and then end of the, after few months, we won't be able to deliver a ROI, and then management always have a question that you already planned for this technology and it is not beneficial for us. Somewhere around we are not getting the ROI. So to go further, while specifically you have a legacy environment, you have to engage your stakeholder, no matter whether they are IT guy or they are a strategist or they are a business a team or whosoever it is, as per the business need or business domain. So we have to engage them, we have to invite them, and we have to train them appropriately. Because the one case study which I have read before a couple of year ago, the American Express has started implementing the new ticketing system on their legacy environment. What they have adopted, they have trained their staff, they have retrained each and every staff on their environment. So if anything goes wrong, if anything are going stretch their new technology, they take care because they are aware about their legacy protocol, their legacy ERP, and their upcoming new process also. So these are the three key pillars which we have to take care while we are thinking about to merging a new innovative idea with our legacy system.
That's a great question, Anand. So when you talk about taking any innovation, now, and let's be very specific, say for instance, AI were to be implemented in an organization. Now, as our co-panelists were saying, first and foremost, we'll have to really identify what the use cases of that is. And before you really commit to the long term for any of the solution, I think it is very important to do a small pilot to really understand what sort of a value that you are really going to get out of it, and define the success metrics for that particular pilot. If the success metrics is positive, then you get into the full-blown engagement, otherwise let's come out of it. Now, once you implement any technology, then it is very important for you to measure the technology, and all of us to measure the technology to ensure that the adoption happens. And as Manik was saying, the realization of the money and the value that firm or company has invested is something that you are able to get. And why this is important is because this is important for all of our credibility. Say for instance, we go and ask board to invest 50 crore in an initiative, committing that if you give me 50 crore, I'll be able to give you 200 CR back in 2 years. As long as we are able to give them back 200 CRs, it will be our credibility which will go high, and in the future, even if we are asking for 500 CR, nobody is going to say no to it. But it is very important for those 2 years to ensure that you have right governance and metrics in place. And the metrics is very simple. Either every investment that we are doing, either it has to help the firm to increase the revenue or reduce the cost. As long as we are able to tag any initiative, even if it is an infrastructure initiative, cybersecurity initiative, or a business-facing application initiative, as long as we are able to map this to see how this is going to increase the efficiency of the firm, in the sense increasing the revenue or decreasing the cost, these are the two key metrics I would say should be measured at the top, and down the line you can actually go how many users are using it, which is the department which is using the most versus the one which is not using it. And you can define and curate various adoption plans pertaining to those particular business groups. So there are many metrics depending on organization to organization, initiative to initiative that can be implemented. But overall, again, I'm coming back to the main point that any investment that we are doing, we got to really make sure it is being tagged to increasing the business value, and business should be able to realize that particular value of taking that initiative. If you are able to produce that, then I think we are in a good shape. Thank you.
I think innovation and new initiative goes without you have a business use case, right? As Mr. Kishore was also mentioning that they have some legacy equipment or something like that. Okay, so we bring in certain solution which is aligned with the, which we can monitor the complete legacy infrastructure, wherein you have complete visibility of your infra, and along with that, we also have something called software metering, wherein you can also get the utilization of whatever software or hardware you are using, because there are a lot of investment which CIOs and CTOs do for their, hardware or the software which they are bringing into the organization. Okay, so we bring in a platform wherein you'll get complete visibility of your infra and the utilization part of it. And along with that, whatever we as a organization, we also focuses on AI based the complete infra and the visibility of that. And until unless we have specific use case with the long vision of the requirement which is coming in from different CIOs or the IT world. So we sometimes we in tune also based on the customer to customer requirement as well. Yeah.
Again, so when it comes to cost control, how do you ensure that you're within budgets, and especially with cloud, AI clouds, hybrid cloud, multi-cloud, and then we're now going into tenancies of a region having a particular AI module or a model not being available in a region. So you have to keep kind of moving around the globe. But I think the crux or the matrix that we follow is how do we bring in volumes? Because when you negotiate your cloud contracts or you structure your cloud operations, you have to bring in volumes. volumes ensure that your cost is driven down, per unit cost is brought down. And you have to constantly measure. But there's again a different perspective. So when it comes to cloud, it's almost like it's a hidden ID, hidden IT. It's not known or not visible. How do you improve with the latest technology the performance of applications? So beyond cost control, what really comes, as certain panelists were also talking about, innovation, is also linked to how do you keep on getting away or moving out your legacy. Legacy over a period of time will become cost burden and will be kind of a dirty word. How do you constantly modernize? Once you're modernizing, you ensuring that your cost progressively either remains constant or is reduced with, say, a per CPU basis, or if it's network dependent, on a per MB basis. So those are the matrices, or say, for example, per panel production, per cell production, per ticket. So those are the matrices that needs to be followed. So there has to be constant modernization, just not modernization of applications, infra, and the whole beauty of moving to cloud is always that you're on the latest platforms, which keeps on giving you more performance per CPU or per GPU. What also get missed out, and which is very critical, is how do you improve the talent and people. With more AI adoptions, and Granton Thornton also told about that moment quantum hits and there are commercial usage of quantum coming into it. This deadly cocktail will have a serious consequences on jobs, because there will be new jobs that will get created. For new jobs, there has to be constant upskilling. How do you improve, or how do you ensure that your resources, your manpowers, are always ahead of the machine? So when you bring in all these three elements, which is people, technology, and modernization together, well ensure that you are constantly ensuring your costs are well within matrices, and you're evaluating, ensuring that your CFO function, your finance function, audit those things. Because those are the one who will kind of give you a pass or a fail. So that's, which becomes kind of a Bible truth, because that's what goes into the board. So you have to ensure that they are partners, they are auditing, and you're delivering constantly over progressive period, whatever you may call it. Because today, if you look at any technology, the obsolescence is so fast. You cannot have visibility of more than 2 years. There were times that you could visualize, put in a 5 years matrix. I think it'll be futile if you go beyond 2 years, what it's going to deliver. I think these three pillars matrix will ensure that you're always within your costs. So again, it boils down to so many factors, which is technology selection. Now, when we went through our first AI life cycle, so we evaluated certain LLM modules. We started with Olama. We keep on going to, so we started with a 7 billion, then we went to 15 billion training prompts model. It was not giving that kind of results. Now, how do you fail fast and succeed fast is the mantra that comes in. And now with models available, how fast can you evaluate and really tie down it and move into production? So that's the key. So you need to have talent doing it. You have technology available. So we have almost like modernized all our legacy applications, taken to .NET Core. Now with Core, you also reduce costs because now you're a platform or an OS agnostic. You can move on to open source databases. Make this application more agile, more reporting parameters, so that you have more visibility into how business is getting transacted. So I think these are core fundamentals that needs to be followed as technologists, so that you are constantly ahead of the curve.
So point again, it comes to the business priorities. Again, so the point is when you are evaluating or maybe when you are assessing the, for example, if we are working on a cyber security, say solutioning. So first thing is like we have to see what is the current posture of our company, what is needed basically, right? And if you can, if you can merge that as a business need or maybe a compliance need, definitely there will be not a pushback. If there is no budget, then also we have to segregate or maybe bifurcate that automation or modernization or maybe moving to cloud in phases. So we have to plan that budget maybe next year. But yes, we have to go ahead with that automation. So I think this is basically an understanding to a novice for us all stakeholders that okay, the security concern, for example, is very important, and this is the loss to the company. This is how it impacts the revenue. This is how it impacts, the business continuity or maybe the compliance, and this is the cost of, non-compliance or not automating specific stuff. So that is basically we have to convince CFOs or maybe the directors, and if we are having a pushback, definitely budgets are not ascertained by them earlier, but then we have to keep that in the next budget cycle. That is how we mitigate. Basically, we have to start somewhere, showing the business value. So that is. Yes. See, if we have to see who is sitting in front of us, whom we are convincing actually. If it is a CFO, definitely he understands numbers. So you have to convert maybe for example a cyber attack will give you so that much of revenue loss, or maybe that will be the loss, and this is the compliance from the government, right? If for example DPDP is coming in, right? If we have to convince CFO that boss, this will be the loss, and this is a solution, this is the best solution which we have to deploy because of DPDP. Definitely, if he is convinced with the numbers, definitely he will agree, right? If that is, for example, a director who doesn't understand, maybe technology better, so we have to tell that okay, this is the continuity of business. We have to relate that to continuity of business, or maybe to compliance, which is mandatory by the government, right? Then they understand better. If you go and make them understand that okay, this is the technology, they will say that okay, we have already invested in our legacy systems, they are working fine, why do you want to change them? So you have to show the better picture to them, maybe not short term, maybe long term in next 2 years, right? We have to associate basically your automation, your modernization, your thought process with the need of the organization. That is the only mantra which actually. So you have to transfer the risk sometimes. So you have to say that okay, I am not responsible. Then you are responsible. Something bad happens. So that is also one strategy. You have to take care.
When you go to some, senior management or people like, who doesn't understand much on the technology, what we simply say is, see, if you're running a car, if you don't have a dashboard, which give you a visibility that what speed you're running the car, how much fuel is there, then you don't have the complete visibility. That is how we sell to, people who doesn't much understand on the technology, that until unless they have complete visibility on the infra, they cannot take decisive actions, yeah.
I'm never in a favor of taking the cost control measures. Rather, I am always hunt for looking at the business opportunities, invest in those business opportunities to help increasing the revenue. Cost control can be done in many ways, but as I said, I am absolutely not in favor of doing that.
One-liner answer is data analysis. Data analysis is the key mantra for this factor.
So again, cost control, basically you have to train your existing team on new technologies, so that when you invest on new technologies, you should not get on to costly resources to manage them. So that is the point where we should train our teams for the next level of skills.
I think organizations' key OKRs and should be aligned with the organization goals. I think that could be one of the factor which we can consider.
My thought process is always create such entry barriers where you keep the competition out.
I think if you can consolidate and bundle all your solution into one, vendor, like you have got ITSM solution, you have got firewall, you have got, you got IDM solutions, single sign-on, everything is there. If you consolidate all of them in one solution, I'm sure that you probably will be saving about 10 to 15% of the cost. Okay, from your own budget, that's under your control. And another thing which I think is that you should not put all your innovation on the legacy system. That budget you save, and convince the management that you put that budget into a new innovative systems.